4 days late, Stugotz, we arrive at the Juwan Howard story with some local ties that I am guessing, I am not sure, that the shipping container is too young to remember. Two factoids I'm about to give them about Juwan Howard. One, after signing a very lucrative contract, he was arrested a few blocks from here for allegedly trying to steal some sunglasses that were like $1,600. I don't know what the truth is there or what isn't the truth, but he had just signed a big contract, and there was an arrest warrant for him, and this was many, many years ago, obviously. And it eventually just disappeared. But it was a curious case, like with Winona Ryder, where you were like, well, what's happening there that somebody with that amount of money, why would they steal something?
Did he keep the glasses?
Well, I'm guessing if there was video and an arrest warrant, I'm guessing they got the glasses back. He bought a pair of glasses from the reports, a cheaper pair of glasses, and I don't know if there was confusion. It was many, many years ago, but it's just a word association that I do with Juwan Howard. He was a professional who was, when he was here and played for the Heat later, hugely respected. But the other thing that I don't think that you guys remember is that Pat Riley has, I believe, one of the most memorable quotes we've gotten from a South Florida sports figure. Roy, do you remember this? When they lost Juwan Howard, they tried to get Juwan Howard, and they didn't do it correctly, and the league stepped in and said, you could not have Juwan Howard.
That I remember. I don't remember the sunglasses, and obviously you can't get arrested for stealing a $15 pair of glasses. You're going to get arrested for stealing however much that was, $1,600. But yes, I remember that aspect of the trade, the attempted trade.
But the quote was, I don't even remember if it was a trade. I think they might have tried to sign him. It was a ridiculous contract that would have been a bad contract for them to give him.
These sunglasses were $2,000.
Goddamn.
I think they were $1,600.
I'm telling you, they were $2,000.
It's not petty theft.
Semantics, either way.
Yeah, Can we meet in the middle? 1,800.
What's your source? What's your source, Stugotz? What are you looking at there?
The Houston Chronicle.
No,
wow.
No, I think he's got to keep looking though, because I didn't invent the $1,600 number. I think the media outlets were rounding.
I love
up.
This. Can't wait to see who wins.
So you have your own source reporting.
That's right. From many years ago. What year does the Houston Chronicle report that? As I sift through a very ancient, it's a quarter century ago, correct? A very
Well,
ancient,
I'm off that story now because I'm looking for a better source. That one wasn't good enough for you.
Well, I just looked it up this morning and came up with it was $1,695. I looked it up.
You got an exact price?
So $1,700 technically.
A Marlins baseball.com message board says $1,600.
That's a good source.
A forum.
Let's good. Then
Stay strong, Stugotz. Houston Chronicle.
Houston Chronicle is a better source. Here is the quote, though, from Pat Riley. I'm very upset about it. We're very, very, very upset about it. And I spent the weekend at my proctologist trying to remove the NBA's 17-foot pole out of my rear end.
17 feet, huh?
Gotta hurt.
You would imagine. 17-foot pole, just a random number for Pat Riley. Could have been 16 feet, could have been 18 feet. He decided to go 17 feet.
Well, which one was it? What does it say in the Houston Chronicle, Stugotz?
I'll get back to that one.
The Juwan Howard story, Stugotz. You see this happen a lot. Not the punching of coaches one to another. That one you do not see happen a lot. But you see that the immediate escalation of video, and Juwan Howard made that situation worse. He needs to make it better. He needs to be punished. He has been punished. It will be a rest of the regular season punishment, which isn't much of a punishment. He's valuable to that program. He has helped make Michigan better.
He is very valuable to that program. They have been better. They do have a cagey vet to replace him in Phil Martelli. What a name. I love that guy.
Do you like it more than Eric Musselman, who made an appearance a few weeks ago in the news? Eric Musselman was in the news for being shirtless. Why was he shirtless? What was the backstory on Eric Musselman?
Musselman is a badass coach. I'm telling you, he's right up there in my top 5 coaches you don't want to try. He's right up there with Mick Cronin. I'm telling you, Dan. Musselman celebrated a victory. His arm was in a sling. He had a separated shoulder. And he celebrated a big victory at home, not only with the fans rushing the court, but in the middle of all of that, the sea of fans was a shirtless Eric Musselman. It was delightful.
He's the head coach at Arkansas, and he promised a group of students outside the arena that if they won, he would do a topless celebration with the fans after beating #1 Auburn.
With a sling on.
I'm seeing on bassgoffle.blogpost.com $2,000 sunglasses.
Boom.
So, that's 2 in the camp for Stugotz.
Thank
Basketball awful.
Mm-hmm.
Musselman is a great name. You're saying it's a great cartoonish comedic name. You're saying he's someone not to be messed with. You wouldn't put him in the class of Juwan Howard in not being messed with, would you, Eric Musselman?
Oh.
But Juwan Howard's not going to make your top 5.
What if his name was Oysterman?
Oysterman is also a good name.
Molluskman.
Scallopman.
Scallopman.
I see what you guys are doing.
What? Poor comedy would be what it is. Crustacean comedy. It's a lane that nobody's taking.
Little shellfish one.
Oysterman.
We've got that covered. No one else can get. That's our corner right there.
Yeah, Shrimpman. Yeah.
Chris Cote is working on a bit back here where he is going to no longer make immature jokes.
It's not a bit.
It's not a bit. Oh.
It's just I've felt the shame. I finally felt shame the other day on something I did. I left here. I'm just like, what am I doing? I have a daughter.
Yeah.
Grow up.
So he just blurted immature jokes.
Yeah, you guys are talking
So
about
he's being very self-serious.
So
right
your
now,
wife
Chris
let
Cote.
you have it, huh?
Not even, honestly. Honestly, no. There was no discussion of it. Never got to her. You know, I'm sure it will now after I'm saying this. But it was just a moment of self-reflection of looking at that GIF and being like, what are you doing? Who are you doing that for?
Right.
What is going on there?
Let me allow people to
happens.
Let me allow people to look behind the curtain, because this is a fairly momentous week where both Codys have felt public shame. I didn't think your dad was capable of it. Please get that sound again for me, Witty, just for those who have not heard it, just so that people can understand why Greg Cody's head fell into his hands, both hands, and he just covered his face because he wasn't listening at all, and this is how it ended up on the air.
Did he jerk off a Pringles can too?
Did Richard Dawson have the phallic microphone?
I think they all did at the time. Yes.
I associate it with Gene Rayburn on
It's
Match
what
Game.
they called their penises. All of them.
That's what I call mine.
Rayburn had the long mic. Anybody remember that?
We just literally said
He had a really long, thin microphone.
Wow. He's still pushing through, feeling good about it.
You have to. I mean, it's your only move.
But he's not even listening to our objection as he just listen to him. And before he even realizes the words have come out of his mouth, we're all looking at him. We just said that. As we tell him, we just said that, he accelerates on the gas and tries to speed through the shame.
Did Richard Dawson have the phallic microphone?
I think they all did at the time. Yes.
I associate it with Gene Rayburn on
It's
Match
what
Game.
they called their penises. All of them.
That's what I call mine.
Rayburn had the long mic. Anybody remember that?
We just
literally said
He had a really long, thin microphone.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
He's right. He's right about that.
Billy, that's
Well,
He's right about that.
Hey, Billy, and your dad doesn't realize. Only the audience. That is such a great inside joke for the audience that Billy always supports your dad, and your dad genuinely flattered by it.
he only hears Billy. Like, yes, that's right.
Yep.
He doesn't recognize that Billy is doing a thing.
He likes Billy more.
He doesn't care.
He likes Billy more than anyone here, including his son, because of how publicly supportive Billy is of his every stupidity, because Billy wants to push him out further and further in the street. But Chris Cote, for the audience that does not know, I'm going to let him way behind the curtain here, because you say you feel shame, but you were doing it for about 19 seconds before I saw for the third time out of the corner of your eye the very distinct look of, has he caught what I'm doing yet?
Oh, in the moment, I didn't feel shame. In the moment, I'm like, I'm a comedic genius. I'm doing a thing right now. Like, just hand me the Emmy now. It's like, in the moment, I'm like, look how funny I am. And then I get home and I'm like, you stupid little immature child. Like, grow up.
No, it's the realization that that GIF is going to be used many times over.
Yes.
And you're never going to escape it. It's like my Jim Gray take. I'm never gonna live down my Jim Gray take.
Right.
I never
Same.
regret doing it.
Those are definitely the same, both of those things.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
I
same
did and
thing.
the Jim Gray
I get
take.
tweeted about it all the time. Jim Gray does anything. I'm notified of it.
That's
He
the
hosts
worst.
a podcast with Tom Brady, and you're like, nah.
Wait until your kids understand, Chris.
What kind of odds, now that you mentioned Tom Brady, could I have gotten for DraftKings for Tom Brady's first post-retirement move to feature 4 women and a road trip comedy, 4 women over 75 years old? And not just 75 or over 75 years old. I'm coming in at the low end with 75. That's Sally Fields.
75, Sally?
Jane Fonda's like in her 80s, I thought.
And so's Lily Tomlin. But Rita Moreno is 90.
It's a football-themed road trip film with Tom Brady, Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, and Sally Field. I will watch this.
Isn't
I want to watch this football theme.
Oh, I'm in. Yeah.
Do they have the rights to the NFL, or is he going to be playing for the Boston Herons?
Do you think that? Well, it is a Brady production, so he's producing and starring in it. I have to question Jessica's taste though on what she'll watch, because she has been consuming with something I've been hate watching. I've watched it to its conclusion, and I've hate watched it, and just like that.
Oh, I've watched some bad shit lately, and just like that.
Just like
was
what?
Super disappointing.
Well, why you watch it? I mean,
What are you watching?
I had to. I had to see what happened. It was just, I mean, man, I don't even know where to begin with that show. Did you finish it, Dan?
I did finish it, and I watched it very disappointed because I loved Sex and the City, really did, and was hoping that in the remake that, because I believe Sarah Jessica Parker makes good choices, and I like her, I like her discerning, I thought to myself, there's no way they'll disrespect the show that this was at the time, how groundbreaking it was, if they've got the creators involved and they're going to do it the same. But it wasn't even just that Samantha wasn't in it. The part that most bothered me is these forced storylines of today where they put so...
It was very heavy-handed. Very heavy-handed. That it felt like almost like, yeah, too much.
Candace Bushnell, who wrote the original column that the show's based off of, I read some interview where, like, I'm paraphrasing, but she was just like, yeah, this wasn't what I ever thought would happen with these characters. Like, I don't really know what this show is.
It's over now, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to get another season or if they want to make another season, because I don't know. I think part of the appeal was like, reunion, and then there isn't that if you make a second version of And Just Like That. But yeah, it was just
like what? I'm so confused what we're talking about right
Sex and the City always had written into it some And Just Like That. Sarah Jessica Parker was voiceovering, and just like that, something happened. And so every episode of this season ended with her and just like thatting something.
now. It wasn't just like that, though. It took like 20 years for them to do this reboot.
It wasn't And Just Like That. That is correct.
Dan, I have watched some shit TV and movies lately. And Just Like That, honestly, tip of the iceberg.
Just like what?
Home Team with Kevin James, the Sean Payton movie.
Really?
Wow, that was really bad. I don't know why I watched it.
Was it as bad as the argument that we had with Netflix's PR people because we told them?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that whole conversation, Dan. I don't want to burn any bridges there, but the movie was brutal. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a Sean Payton cameo at the end of the movie, and he's a janitor with a wig on.
get out of here.
I almost
Watching
threw
it
up.
tonight.
I almost threw up like on my coffee table. I almost just puked on my coffee table. I was like, what is going on? What is this?
I believe
Who is
that
this for?
what on there is that Adam Sandler has a deal with Netflix. They figured out, let's have Sean Payton in the end wearing a wig as a janitor. We'll figure out the rest of the movie around that.
And they never really address like the Bountygate thing. They make jokes about it, but it's super lighthearted. I'm like, how are we making Bountygate lighthearted? And he's kind of like, he doesn't really admit that he was part of it, but he kind of like implies that he was. It's bizarre. It's for kids, I assume. Like all of the storylines are kids' storylines, and they're coaching like a high school or middle school team.
And getting back to the original sin of the making of this movie, who was pining for a movie about Sean Payton? If you were to make a movie about characters from football, like how far down the list would Sean Payton be? Like what is interesting? He's just a football coach who once went for an onside kick in the Super Bowl and led his team to victory. Like,
oh, that's in the movie.
I'm sure.
Is it really?
The onside kick.
I am
There's
so
also,
there.
I will say the one thing I liked, there were some cameos from like Bill Cowher and like other, well, basically just Bill Cowher.
Well,
others like Tracy Wolfson was in it.
Adam Sandler is good at Tracy Wolfson.
There's a bunch of random CBS people in it. Like I assume Paramount produced the film.
Fair play to Tracy Wolfson for getting that. I mean, she's going to be getting like 17-cent royalty checks for the next 20 years.
Yep.
Well done.
A great sideline reporter. I mean, she is fantastic. Top 5 for me. I mean, oh boy, I got a list.
Oh God. do you still get checks for ballers?
I do.
What?
I do. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're tiny.
You crushed it.
They're tiny checks. They're like the last one was $2 and something.
So awesome.
Wow, this wig Jessica's showing her right now, this wig that Sean Payton's wearing is as delightful as you could imagine.
Like none of it made any sense. I imagine if I was a child, I might like the film and it might be a
but
nice...
you don't know, if you're a child, you don't know who Sean Payton is, perhaps. And so
I
you're
also
watching...
am like, Mommy, what's Bountygate? Honey, it's when the head coach of the New Orleans Saints paid money for her players, their players to injure the opponents of the other teams.
It's better than that. Mommy, what does it mean when Greg Williams says kill the head?
Greg Williams was not in the film.
And then wears a disguise for like 2 NFL seasons so he can stay in the league as a coordinator. After we've got the audio of him saying kill the head of a player who had had concussions before.
It's Greg, right?
2 G's, yes, or 3 G's, I guess.
Greg.
I wanted to ask you something, Chris, as I saw you mentioned CBS, Jessica, and I am curious where we're going to head with arguments with Tuanon and the next 2 years of please, Mr. Savior, please, Mr. Man, make a scheme that makes our quarterback look better than he has looked. Please come in here and make a magical scheme for us that shows us something from our quarterback that we have not seen. But NFL on CBS gives you the following stats on Tua and Davis Mills.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Smart people are saying.
Smart people have been saying that for a long time here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that corner of the room away from the microphone was an oh wow callback by Tony, who says he's rather have Davis Mills than...
Turn my mic on. Hold on, Dan. I did not say I'd rather have Davis Mills. I said smart people are saying Davis Mills, not that bad. That's always been my take the entire time. Very tepid, very lukewarm. But chickens are coming home to roost, and all of a sudden I did see that stat.
Or the ducks are coming home.
And the ducks are coming home, too. Tua and Davis Mills, very similar. Go ahead, Dan.
The ducks are coming home to roost. Put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard Show. Are the ducks coming home to roost? He was so excited about feeling like he's right after 13 games on Davis Mills that he just trampled the ducks are coming home to roost so that he could give us more takes that Tua and Davis Mills are the same. But the stats, over 13 games, both of them have thrown 16 touchdowns. Both of them have thrown 10 interceptions. Both of them have 6.8 yards per attempt. So it's not like one of them is throwing the ball downfield more than the other one. And those are similar counting stats. That doesn't tell you very much, right? Those counting stats don't I think Stugotz is still doing the math this way. Do I have it wrong, Stugotz? Are you still counting stats that you don't want to go look at the other stuff that you need to look at in order to make a fairer evaluation of what a quarterback is?
Nope. Too much information is too much information, Dan. I don't want to look at everything. It's too much.
They both had exactly 263 completions, and I want to ask Dolphin fans how you feel about that. Wittynham's out. Wittynham's out on Tua, although I don't know if a magical coach is something that perhaps changes your mind. If he could come here and scheme their way to a running game with a bad offensive line, and if they have a running game, all of a sudden Tua in play action is going to be a much better quarterback.
The Niners did it with Jimmy Garoppolo. So, I mean, they did it. And you have a guy who was in charge of that offense. So that should be encouraging to you.
No, because if I were the Niners, I wouldn't want Jimmy Garoppolo, even though he went to the Super Bowl, was a play away from winning it, and went to another NFC Championship game. That's not because of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo carried the team along, but in my view, and what I want in my life as a football fan, I almost yes, winning matters. I just want to have a franchise quarterback. And you know it when you see it, right? And Tua has not been that to this point. I watch highlights of him in the national championship against Georgia. I'm like, where's that guy? Can I get that guy? Because that's what I thought I was getting.
That's what he looked like with a good scheme and a good offensive line. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I think we've seen him.
Like a different player.
Can we just call him at this? Can we agree? He's at what we've seen so far, average quarterback.
I'd say below average.
Okay, let's just give me average for a second. That's with a scheme that has blown none of us away. Nobody thinks that scheme was anything special. A bad offensive line. If they get the offensive line better, if our new coach brings in a scheme that improves things, like I'm with Witty that he's never going to be Mahomes, but you just got to get it through. Like, he's not going to be Mahomes. So I think he can be better. I think he can be a starter in this league.
But of course he can be a starter in this league.
He is a starter.
And you can be a starter in this league. I'd go closer to average than below average, but a lot of quarterbacks statistically can give you at this point what it is he gave you with those limitations you mentioned. But let's get back to what Wittyngham said. You know it when you see it. Do you? Because I spent 7 years arguing about this with Tannehill, and Tannehill, Stugotz, I would say it doesn't take a lot to convince yourself, okay, if you have Tannehill, you have a shot. It's largely not going to be because of Tannehill. He might screw it up at the end, but you can get close, obviously. We've seen that Tennessee is overwhelming with a lot of good pieces around a Ryan Tannehill.
Justin Herbert, when you saw it, you knew, right?
How many of these guys are there? 9, 7?
You know it when you see it, guys, that as soon as you saw it immediately with Mahomes because they didn't play him right away. So the guys are Brady, are Rodgers. You knew it when you saw it with Kyler Murray, right? It didn't take long.
Yeah. I mean, we are talking sniff tests right now. I love this. This is
What about
fantastic.
Burrow?
I got Dan in the conversation.
I don't think when you saw Burrow first, you didn't think like, oh, that's definitely a.
No, I think you knew with Joe Burrow. I think the guy that perhaps maybe you didn't know was Tom Brady, Josh Allen, guys like that. You didn't know.
Is it sniff test or is it eye test?
Sniff test for me. I
You
mean,
know it when you see it. Wouldn't it be eye test?
or you smell it, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. You smell greatness, Roy.
Thank you.
Well, you say you know it when you smell it, and all it makes me think of is the conversation Tony was having with Chris before the show, the more mature Chris Cote, about whether you will eat a blizzard if the Uber driver is farting, if the Uber Eats guy is
I just
farting.
want the record stated that was not a topic I started. I was like, that is too much, Tony.
So this is what happened. I was thinking the other day because yesterday I went to get frozen yogurt, right, Dan? And
It was a McDonald's milkshake before the show. You've made it healthier
Well, no,
on
it was
air.
a
Tell us the
McFlurry.
real story.
It was a McFlurry, yeah. So
What was it?
it was a McFlurry. And you know how they have the open
yes.
top where they put the spoon
You
in
had
the
it
top?
strawberry
Yes.
banana for a second, but now it turned.
Clean up your diet only verbally?
TCBY you went to?
And we had him putting.
TCBY. Holy shit.
Huh, when did TCBY close?
It's not closed yet.
I
There's no
think
way
they
it's closed.
I think they
Yes.
rebranded as a Froyo business. I've seen TCBYs that serve Froyo.
Isn't it only Froyo? Isn't the Y in TCBY yogurt?
It is.
It is.
I think it's always been.
It's always been yogurt.
But
Frozen.
they framed themselves as a more traditional ice cream place before the Menchie's and Yogurtland era ushered in a new era in ice cream.
What are
frozen
Menchie's?
yogurt?
Menchie's?
Yeah, Menchie's is a Froyo place.
I've
Yeah.
never,
You never heard of Menchie's?
Yeah,
I
Menchie's.
thought you meant like people replying to my tweets, like my Menchie's. That's oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Culture
Back to delivery
barrier.
drivers farting.
So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You've got your McFlurry. You know how it has the open top. You put the spoon inside. You get the delivery. Uber drivers coming your way. Everybody's human, hanging out in the car. Guy lifts his leg a little bit, cranks out a fart. All of a sudden, your McFlurry is in the same air as this fart. And I've got a problem with that.
I will agree. There's no doubt. It's not like an Uber driver's like, oh, I have food in this car. I can't fart. Like, they're letting it fly if they feel it. We have to all just accept that. I had never thought about the fact that there's had to be at least one Uber driver that's ripped ass like 7 times on the way.
Every Uber I've ever gotten into smells like socks and ropa vieja.
Every Uber smells like feet.
No, they
I
smell like
disagree.
cologne. They all smell like cologne.
I
It makes my car
I
sick.
haven't had a lot of bad. I get in the Uber. Maybe I don't smell great. Maybe so it's like I'm just like smelling my upper lip. But like I don't know. I just
There it is.
Ass and cologne
damn it.
and corn
Ladies and
chips.
gentlemen, the more mature
can't help it.
Chris Cote.
it's who I am.
No, you get
Accept me for who I am.
Embrace it.
To answer Tony's question, are we too precious about our food? Because do you not think that cooks in kitchens aren't farting all the time? That they're 100% clean all the time? That your food,
But they're around other people. I imagine they're holding it like we would hold it because they don't want to be the guy.
You fart
like
in here, Chris?
you fart all
No,
the time
I
in
don't.
here. So that's what I mean. Like I think but the Uber driver, like the delivery drivers, are in a space where they're working alone. Like in my car, we just let it ride.
Right.
And you got food scents to hide everything that's going on.
Yes.
Do you guys think that like the fart can permeate the outer layer?
I'm
of the
imagining you
food? Why-
opening your McDonald's bag
yeah.
and like a poof of smoke comes out, and you're like, ooh, and it's green, like a green poof of smoke rises.
Fries
I
smell
don't-
bad.
I don't want my food around other people's farts. Around
That's a
my
rule we would
farts,
all
they're
agree on.
fine.
Why
Yes,
not?
I don't
yes.
think you're going to see a lot of
No.
pushback on that
No,
That
no,
rule.
fart is
no.
not
It
going
should be a
to
commandment.
like infect your food. You're not all of a sudden eating fart because someone farted near your food.
I see both
Stop
sides
being
to
so
this.
precious about your food. Just fucking eat it.
Like I will eat something if
Jesus.
if a piece of food falls on the floor, unless it's like a bathroom, I'm obviously not. But I'm
the Cleveland
5-second rule. Like we got to eat a peck of dirt before you die. That's what my nana always said. So, and a peck is a lot more than you think it is. It's something I learned. It took me a while because you think
Tell me
peck
more. Yeah,
and you
it's a
think
peck.
it's like a little peck, but it's like a huge bag. Look it up. A peck is like it's like a huge bag of dirt over your lifespan.
Nelly Doogie?
Yeah, actually.
Wow.
I love how much you become by your father by not only referencing Nelly Doogie, but then making Wittyngham while you sit in front of a
Educating
computer.
him.
Right,
No,
he's
you say,
looking it
look
up, right.
You say, look it up to him. Look up what a peck means.
Gotta eat a peck of dirt before you die. Witty?
What is a peck? I would not have assumed that. I would have assumed that a peck is, a small bird eating a single seed. I think most people would assume that that's what you mean by a peck of dirt. But you will look this up and we will find out whether a peck is indeed correctly something that is bigger than that.
I got it right here. In the United States, the peck is used for only dry measure and is equal to 8 dry quarts or 537 cubic inches. Peck.
Wow.
Look at me.
something.
It's a new
Big
me, I'm
peck.
telling you. It's
Yeah.
a new day.
you out researched me as
Dude.
well. I was in the idiomsfreedictionary.com and I couldn't find it.
That was quick.
You did. You got there
Just
quick.
type in peck amount.
A real peck
Search.
expert. Peckspert.
Well done.
But anyways, but the point I was making is I'm very, I'll take a bite of someone if someone's bit it. I'm very, unless they're sick, like I'm not a germaphobe. Something can fall on the floor, I'll pick it up. Like it's okay.
It depends on the floor.
Germaphobes.
Chris.
Yeah, it depends on the floor, obviously.
I love that this is what you did. You said, don't fart near my food. Then you agreed with yourself and said no one would disagree with that as Wittyngham yells, why not, and begins cursing. You blow right through that. You blew right through it to say, I can see both sides. Before that, wondering how anyone could disagree, but not listening to the disagreeer.
I am farting on Wittynham's lunch today, and we're videotaping it, and then he's eating it.
Great end to the segment when you were
Perfect.
saying that you're going to be more mature.
Perfect. I can't wait to video you farting on his lunch.
You told your wife when you left
Why do I say shit? I
The
just
show
can't
will
help
always
it.
bring you back, Chris.
I can't help
It will
it.
always bring you back. You had a day off yesterday. I'm sure you were on your best behavior.
And I'm listening to the show. I'm like, God, the show's so much more mature when I'm not around.
Pledged to be more mature, and we didn't get through a segment without you threatening to fart on a college.
He said he likes farting his food. Like, that's the weird thing there.
Not what I said. I
You
did
said
not,
you don't mind a fart with
no,
your food.
I
mean,
said stop being precious about your food. It's dirty. It's dirty from like it's levels of dirty. It's either very dirty or a little bit dirty, but I can tell you it's sure as shit not clean.
McGill told us we're eating insects with a lot of our food. We're just eating insects.
Yeah.
Not the same as a fart.
There's an FDA regulated amount of insects that you can eat with food.
Unless the insect farts in the food.
You know what, though, Jessica? If I say to you, which would you rather? If I say
Bull?
fart or insect?
Whose fart?
An insect.
Insect fart.
Whose
then
fart?
insect. Then
Whose-
human
No,
fart.
it's a great question.
Okay,
Whose
if it's
fart? It
Stugotz's
is.
fart, I'm not eating it.
Right,
If
that's
it's
fair.
his
Prime
fart, absolutely
Prime
not.
Terry Bradshaw.
If it's my dog's fart, maybe.
What? You'd rather have a dog
I mean, I have
fart
a
in
dog.
your
She
food?
like wipes her butt all over everything anyway, so like that. It's like whatever. I probably already inhaled those.
Right,
farts.
like being precious about cleanliness for anyone who owns a dog.
Right.
The dog is licking
In
itself all the
retrospect,
time.
weird to
It's
say.
sniffing
You
each other's
chose a
butts.
dog over me?
Like it's like
A dog
what
fart?
are you being precious about cleanliness for?
A dart?
You got no chance.
Have you ever had like serious food poisoning? 'Cause
Yes.
that changes the way that you look at everything you eat for the rest of your life.
But also like when I've had food poisoning, you don't know what the culprit is. You don't know if somebody farted near your food or if that food was just old and gone bad. Like you don't know why you get food poisoning. You just sometimes get food poisoning.
Put it on the poll, Chris. What would you rather eat? Insect part in your food or food that has been farted on by a neighboring Uber Eats driver? And also, at LeBatard Show, put on the poll, are the Uber Eats people farting on your food?
Of course they are.
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to be.
Purposely.
I just need it
100%.
stated that these ridiculous polls have been birthed by Tony and Witty. Like, I did not have anything to do
We know.
with these
Oh,
polls.
mature Chris
It is
Cote.
very mature. Yeah.
Who's gonna fart in my lunch later today?
That's happening.
Change.
Good.
We'll make it a media event sponsored by DraftKings.
We could sell that.
You get like GasX involved or something like that. Get a localized sponsor for that.
or sponsor the food and make it food so good it tastes good even if Chris Cote farts on it. Because when you asked the question, Jessica, who farted on my food, it matters. I said, what do you mean it matters? And then I thought, well, it would if it were Ralph Friedgen.
Yes.
If it was Mark Mangino, that's a worse fart than,
Why
Jeff
do
Van Gundy.
But if Rob Lowe farted on my food, I feel like it would make it better.
Yeah. Roy just
I would eat that.
Roy had the idea of Jessica doing her top 5 best smelling farters, like in sports.
Oh, Rob Lowe's got to be up
Yeah.
there.
What do you, well,
I
in
didn't have that
sports,
idea. I
in
would never have
sports.
that idea.
How
That came from
In
Roy.
sports.
That's so immature, but give me 5.
No, that's why
points.
Roy came up with it. That's why I was.
well,
You're
why
welcome.
didn't Roy say it?
Well,
Roy,
he said it and he didn't go to air with it, so I was like,
shy. He didn't want to.
Roy doesn't really do fart humor.
No, I am not a toilet humor guy.
I was like, that's a little immature, but I feel like that's a decent idea
I mean,
for
I can
Jess.
tell you
so.
who's the worst: Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. After the things that they've been telling us they've been eating.
That is so true. Tom Brady's farts must smell terrible.
Right.
They're eating natural diet.
Nah, with all the greens and stuff, that's not good smelling farts. I don't
Seems
think.
like a clean fart to me.
Wait,
Am I wrong on this?
That's
greens
a
are
little-
bad for farting?
Well, this
I
is what I
mean,
would tell you guys.
That's a
always
lot of
make,
fiber, Whitney.
You
I
guys,
thought meat was bad for fart.
some greens, yeah, like broccoli and stuff, and Brussels sprouts, I think. But I also think, and I know you're going to make fun of me every time we talk about this stuff, dietary stuff, but I do believe that Tom Brady is eating according to like blood allergies, and so what he puts, every ingredient he puts in his system, if his body reacts by farting or acid reflux, it's telling him don't eat that. So I'm guessing that Tom Brady never farts.
So he's the kind of guy that when he farts, he goes, he writes it down. He like has a log of his farts for his like what he ate before, and he tells his
A
person.
fart log.
Oh, I just love the idea of him farting. Most of us just fart and they're like, oh, we go on about it. He like pulls a pen out and a pad, and he's
Yep.
like, it's not even a notes pad in his phone. It's for some reason a pen that he pulls out.
He's charting it.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Put it on the poll as well, Guillermo. Guillermo's not here. Put it on the poll, Chris Cote at LeBatard Show.
Does Tom Brady chart his farts?
Does Tom
Chart
Brady
fart.
chart his farts?
On a legal pad.
This is a good app idea.
A fart chart?
Art chart.
You've got him pulling out a legal pad, Roy, like not doing it computerized. He's going to do
Like
a
Tony Kornheiser on PTI.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
all right, guys, I got some
Yellow?
important notes.
He brings it over to his
I watched PTI the other day for the first time in a while. It's like
He
Tony
still does
Kornheiser,
it.
I'm gonna make a point. Legal pad held in front of him. Like I love that.
When he puts those glasses on and he pulls that pad out, I'm listening though.
He's
I'm like,
great.
there's something good's
I
coming
also
right
love
now.
that
He's
there's
funny.
there's moments of the show where he's not wearing glasses. Like he's got to take the glasses off and hold them. Like one bit in his mouth. Like just wear glasses all the time, man. You're that guy. Just wear glasses.
Mike Lupica writes his books by hand in legal pads. I don't know whether he's changed in the last 5 years, but he writes his books by hand. And I still make fun of the producers who corral and shepherd old sports writers into the pen every day so that the Disney machine can make sports television arguing the same 3 stories all day. Every day, Kornheiser comes in and sits down with a producer whose life has withered away over the last 20 years just writing things in that yellow legal pad. Still, Kornheiser needs to do the show the same. So he comes in early and he makes sure he's super prepared. And Wilbon waltzes in with a sandwich and a drink 30 minutes late.
That's how you do it.
But you can honestly hear it though in the way they break stuff down. Because Kornheiser, as much as he's a curmudgeon, he brings facts to it. Yes. Where where Wilbon just shoots from the hip of just like, dismisses this guy. It's like from the Stugotz school of broadcasting. I'm just like, I already got the take. I don't need any info.
We are very similar, me and Michael Wilbon.
That's why he always resented
I know, it's
you,
why
I
he doesn't
think.
like me.
Yeah.
Yes. It's weird.
Sees you in the mirror.
Yeah.
I love Tony Kornheiser's delivery of those opinions, and it's like, I wish I was that informed. Like he probably reads a newspaper cover to cover. Like
those are
that's
good.
What it would
Those are
seem
good
like.
producers.
Oh,
that's what
really
it's like
good.
to work for the good ones.
Yeah.
Hey.
Wasn't a shot at you.
It was a shot at the farter. It was a shot at the lunch farter.
I made a fart chart for Tom Brady.
Oh, nice.
Good producing.
Good producers, my ass.